What's going on, fellas? Welcome back to another beautiful day over here at Skiffland. We're jumping right back in to the 16-foot Project Skiff. In this video, we're just going to be tightening up some loose ends that we left over the past couple of videos. A few things I did behind the scenes, which I'll show you, and then I have a couple of upgrades. We have a tiller extension that I finally got my hands on. We got a bow guard for up front. I'll show you why. We got a hydrofoil, and we have a onboard charger for that big 165 amp hour lithium battery under this front hatch. But also we have to fix the front hatch because for some reason it broke off. If I move this stuff out of the way, you can see she just broke right off. And because of the bed liner that I used, it got deep in this hinge right here and kind of just seized it in place. I have a rivet gun, so I can replace the rivets here to put it back on, but I have to figure out a way to unseize it and just kind of clear up all that bed liner in the hinge. If I can't fix this hinge, I might just rivet it in place completely and put a new hatch on this hatch, but we'll see where the day goes. I'm not sure. It might be easier than I think, but it looks pretty seized on there because there's a couple layers of bed liner and a couple layers of exterior paint. We'll see. I do want to say also that the exterior paint is kind of like as far as how it holds up. On the sides of the boat and the transom, it holds up great. On the interior, brother, it holds up fantastic. Really well, really durable, like mostly because of the bed liner. I would almost advise you, like if you want to do that, just bed line the whole entire boat, the exterior as well, because as you can see, in low traffic areas, low friction areas like around the boat, it holds up pretty well. I'm not super gentle with skiffs like this, but up here, a very high traffic area, it kind of just came right off. So the paint didn't last very well here. Let's see. Yeah, she's gonna let me get over there, give you a better look. She's not holding up too good down here. I potentially could have not let it dry all the way, maybe, but instead of putting too much time and money into that area, I'm just going to slap on one of these bow guards. It's just held on by 3M adhesive, so I'm gonna bend that and just put it on there. And then honestly, just call it a day. I'm not too worried about that portion of the boat. Like I said, the exterior paint everywhere else is holding up quite nicely. Underneath even, it's pretty good. Cruising up onto the sandbar, a lot of friction under there, and it's still holding up. So I'm stoked on that. Dude, this tiller extension was so hard to track down because the ones at West Marine only had tiller extensions that extended. This one is fixed in place at this length. They sell these at Academy. I went to one Academy, they didn't have it. They said that this Academy had it. So I went to this Academy, they didn't have it, and they said this Academy had it. So I went to this Academy and they said, no, we only have a couple of shorter ones, but this Academy has it. I went to this Academy and this is the one that they had, which obviously doesn't matter, just kind of like taped onto the box. This tape is gonna be annoying to get off, it always is, but it's like 25 bucks, no big deal. It's definitely worth it on a skiff like this. But I go up to the cash register and I was just spitballing, you know. I was like, any chance I can get a little bit of a discount because of the condition that it's in? And she was like, I can give you $1 off because of the sticker. I was like, man, I'll take it, but I mean, what is that? You know, what even is $1 off? Same with this hydrofoil. I picked this up at Academy as well. I just figured might as well get as much just as much out of this Yamaha 15 as we can, because I actually really like this motor on the boat. It ran like a dream. In the last video, I had it at 100-to-1 ratio which really equaled out to about 70-to-1 fuel oil ratio, just because I did the ratio for 6 gallons, but there was already 1.5 gallons, 2 gallons in the tank. So when I did the ratio, it was only to the 4.5 gallons. So it came out to like 70-to-1, but I'm gonna add a little more oil to that. But I mean, she ran good. I'm sure she'll run even better, closer to 50-to-1 ratio. It'll be a lot easier with the tiller extension, and we'll see what kind of difference we get with that hydrofoil as well. But the idea of this boat in my mind over the past couple of days it's just amazing. Just to have it in my mind, like, I have a sweet, cheap skiff that I can just go out into the backwaters if I want to. The next time I'm bored, if I want to cruise out, fish some docks down the intercoastal, I can do that. It's for not that much money. It just is such a good feeling in my mind that, I don't know, it's gonna actually be hard to get rid of. I was thinking about posting it over this past weekend, but that thought of this chilly weather, throwing a hoodie on in the morning and going out chasing down some redfish under some docks, I don't know. I couldn't bring myself to posting it. So here I am, gonna try and make it just a little bit better today than it was the other day. And then we'll go from there. The other thing that I did, possibly the most important thing that I did, was the other day I came in here, I had to grab something. And while I was here, where those trim tabs were at, there were just kind of like really shallow holes. I went over them with some fiberglass filler and it pretty much did the job, but I didn't trust it enough to not worry about it anymore. I don't want water intrusion in this transom because it actually is really solid and I don't want it to rot away on the inside. So I took a drill bit and I drilled in, you know, less than an inch, something like that. I drilled into every one of the shallow holes to make it a little bigger and a little more accepting of some 5200. And then I just kind of took a toothpick and just ran 5200 deep into these holes just to, you know, seal it up. I did it all the way across. The ones over here on this side were pretty much all good from the fiberglass filler. This is where I ran out. So I have a little bit of extra mixed paint. So also today while I'm here, I'm gonna grab the paint, come over and just paint over the 5200. I'm not trying to hide anything. This just looks like an eyesore. Looks like the boat has a bunch of acne cream on it. So I'm just gonna fix that up and not worry about it. If you really wanted to fix it, you could put some 52 deep in there and maybe fiberglass filler over it again and again, just to like seal it all up. But the 5200 works magic. I don't see it being a problem. That is a fix for me, and I need to grab the paint. We'll actually do that first so that it can be drying throughout the day. This is going to be our paintbrush. Just a little shop towel. We don't have to get too fancy with it. Just dab on some paint. No big deal. Oh. It's almost stuck on there. Alrighty. Let me crack this open and get to dabbing. I just cracked it open and I gotta say, this exterior paint is actually really durable. And it created a pretty good seal around that lid. Let me grab something to stir this with, mix it up. But the seal that I had to break with a flathead screwdriver around it was actually pretty tough. So that makes me feel a little bit better. Like it's a little more durable than I thought. I'm glad I kept this too. I was about to get rid of it, but this is exactly what we need to fix this eyesore, because now it's structurally all good and watertight, no big deal, but it just looks silly. So switch hands. I'm just gonna get in there and just doesn't have to be perfect. Clearly it's a little lighter. That kind of bums me out. Kind of bums me out, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's actually a lot lighter. There's potential that it would dry darker maybe, but that's actually a ton lighter. All right, whatever. Anything's better than those white dots. I'm sure there's room for argument of that as well, either way. But I don't know. I'm not trying to make an art piece here, just trying to blend it in a little bit better. I have some black over there. I could potentially darken it up a little bit, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really trying to make an art piece. Ah! Dude, backing up a little bit, it actually looks terrible. But I mean, let me get a coat on here and then see what it does after it dries, I guess. Just see. Cross my fingers that it darkens up a tad, but whatever. If it does, that's great. If it doesn't, I will come back to this later on in the day probably. But I definitely successfully made it different. I wouldn't say I made it better, but I mean, whatever. All right, on to the next thing for now. Okay, I actually couldn't really help myself. I mixed some black into the paint here and I went over it. It's a little bit better. It's still pretty wet and needs to dry before I do something else to it potentially, or just leave it. Every time I'm touching it, I'm making it slightly worse. So I might just leave it as is. While it's drying though, I figure I'd talk to you guys about something important regarding yesterday's video. So yesterday I went and I bought my wife a 2017 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and this thing is cosmetically perfect inside and out. There is not a scratch on it. There's not a dent. There's not even like a small dime-sized dent. There's no rock chipping on the front. There's no curb rash on the wheels. The tires are brand new. The inside is fully loaded. There's not even a crease or anything in the leather interior. It is beautiful, and my wife is in love with the Jeep. Yesterday we went and bought it. I checked it out. Everything was good. Like previously disclosed in the listing and in person, that there was a P0305 cylinder 5 misfire. And so I went there thinking that it was going to have either a tick or some type of slap or a knock, or I thought it was going to run rough or just not like run at all. I don't know. I was going there expecting the worst and was pleasantly surprised when I turned the car on and nothing was wrong with it at all. There was a check engine light for the P0305, but I cleared the code and it ran perfectly. It ran perfectly on the test drive. It sat there and idled perfectly when I got back. It ran perfectly after I bought it and we drove it home. It ran perfect. We parked it last night. Later the night, we got back in it, drove around. It drove perfect. Got back home and then parked it for the night. And this morning, we were going to get back in the car and my wife did the remote start from, you know, maybe 30 yards away. And boy, the whole neighborhood got encompassed with a cloud of coolant smoke. It was a bummer, dude. Right when it happened, I was like, oh, I know exactly why this is happening. It smelled like syrup from a mile away. And I was like, well, we got a head gasket problem. There you go. Well, either a head gasket problem or a cylinder head crack or whatever. For some reason, there's coolant getting in the combustion chamber. And that's not good. I assumed that overnight, whether it was through a crack or a head gasket crack or whatever, there was some drippage into cylinder 5, I would assume. And it accumulated, and then whenever we turned it on this morning, it burned it all up and blew it out the exhaust. Such a bummer, because yesterday this was not prevalent. And this is why I stress to anybody, if you're going to look at a used car, truck, used boat, used outboard, used anything, just make sure whenever you walk up that it is still cold, that it's not hot. I didn't get down there and touch the engine block, but they were so nice and they were so I don't know, they seemed so honest that I really was just taking their word for everything. If the car was cold at the time and I was doing a genuine cold start when I first got there, it obviously would have puffed this big, huge cloud of coolant out of the exhaust, and I would have known what I was getting myself into. I actually still would have purchased it. I would have negotiated a little bit differently. I actually gave them exactly what they were asking for it. One, because I thought they were really honest and that everything was described perfectly. And two, I knew that they probably weren't going to accept a smaller offer because they had like 1,000 messages for it. Regardless, I'm not mad at the vehicle. I'm not mad at the people. I am genuinely mad at myself for letting these people pull one over on me. It is a real bummer because I talked so highly of them yesterday. And also, after the deal, we sat under their porch or whatever and talked for probably 40 minutes about how bummed I was about getting scammed by the government auto auction, and I still haven't gotten my money back. And they seemed so honest and caring about that situation. So it was a bummer because they told me about a misfire. They told me that the coolant is going somewhere. I mean, obviously I knew in the back of my head that something deeper is going on here. I can't get that lucky. But I mean, whenever the smoke, well, I guess smoke evaporates, whatever. All the stuff coming out of the tailpipes this morning is not the first time that happened. If they disclosed that to me yesterday, I would have known not to even consider looking at coil packs or spark plugs or wires or computer issues or anything. I would know exactly what I was getting myself into, and I could go from there. I could make a decision accordingly. But no, sometimes scammers come in they look like really nice people. So, I mean, can't fault them. They got one over on the kid. It's not a big deal. I've actually replaced a head gasket on one of these 3.6s before, and it was a terrible experience. It was really annoying. I would prefer not to have to do that again. So, I mean, I should have been more cautious going into this, but it's not a big deal. To be honest, like, my wife loves the car so much that at this point I'll do anything to get it running correctly, which is weird to say because it is running perfectly. It runs absolutely perfectly. But I can't have the old lady walking out of Target with the chance of her turning the car on and a big puff of coolant smoke coming out the back. I can't have my lady looking like that. So, with that being said, I'm probably gonna roll it in here one night this week and take the whole top half of the engine off, resurface some heads, make sure that there's no cracks or warps or anything, slap a new head gasket on there, slap some new head bolts in there, and call it a day. Okay? So, I mean, I only have myself to blame. And it is what it is. It's not a big deal. I feel like I still got the car for a good price considering the condition that it's in. It's so nice. The smile that it brings my wife is priceless. So, we're just going to leave it at that. Just keep in mind, sometimes scammers and dishonest people come in the form of really, really, really nice looking, nice people that seem really honest. Okay? If anything, just take this one thing with you, that whenever you go look at a vehicle, make sure it's cold. Because you could have a perfect running vehicle when it's warm, and whenever it gets cold, it, Yep. All right. Take my mistakes and learn from them so you don't have to make these mistakes. Okay? That's what this is all about. I'm gonna jump back into the skiff, and while this paint is drying back here, it looks all right. I guess I'm gonna jump into the hydrofoil. I've actually never put a hydrofoil on a skiff ever. I'm probably gonna have to drill some holes. So, I mean, it looks all right. How many horsepower is this thing gonna get us out of there? Straight out the box. What does it say? I don't know. I don't see it making any horsepower promises. But it'll probably help us get on plane a little better. Not that the old 15 has a problem, but just a little upgrade. Let me get over there and start drilling some holes. I don't know if I said this already, but this was like $30. So my Academy order was like 100 something, 120 or 30, because I got the NoCo charger as well. That was like $75. 75, 85, 95, 100, 130 something. All right, we're dropping blue strips on the old skiffer. All right, by the time she's done, you know, we're gonna have a little bit tied up in here, but it's gonna be worth it if we can slap some slimy fish on the deck. Before I jump in to this hydrofoil experience, I feel it's worth saying that if you want really, really nice things for the cheapest amount of money, you got to get used to fixing some stuff. All right, don't be scared of getting dirty and fixing some stuff. I own a lot of very nice things right now for not very much money, because that's just kind of how I've been rocking and rolling. I've been buying things that don't work for quite some time and just figuring it out as I go. Honestly, it's a rare occurrence these days to buy something and it just worked perfectly. So I'm not scared to get into this situation like I am in with the Jeep. I've been here before. This is familiar territory, and we're gonna see it through. We're gonna see the other end. I already see it on the other side, driving good down A1A. So I'm not even worried about it. By the end of this, we're gonna have a very, very, very nice vehicle. Still cheaper than if I went to buy the same exact vehicle with no issues. So, I don't know. I just wanted to say that. Let's see what's in the box. Seems like it's actually been opened before, so hopefully everything is here. Okay. Looks like we have one fin. Nice. Halfway there, halfway to a hydrofoil. And then the other fin. Nice. Nice. Which way does that go? Okay. This way. Had it right the first time. Don't overthink it. Okay, so I mean that you can really only drill holes in one spot, which makes it nice. And then some hardware. Hopefully, assuming this is some stainless hardware. Easy enough. Is it even worth looking at the instructions? Probably not. No. Tools needed. Electric drill. A note, the Stingray Aero hydrofoil includes a left and right hydrofoil wing. The right hydrofoil wing includes the Stingray Aero logo on the top surface, and the left hydrofoil wing is blank on the top surface. Figured that out on my own just a second ago. All right, so something like that should be all right. Let me grab my electric drill. This is the drill bit that was already in it, so we might get lucky, and I mean, seems all right to me. I'm just gonna push this in. Of course, we can't get a straight up and down shot. I mean, should I have it out? I still won't be able to get I'll be able to get a straight up and down. Let me look at the picture. Yeah, he has it right there, so bummer. I don't get it. Okay, I am at this point, but to be honest, the bolts aren't really coming through much. But I might be able to sink a nut on there and maybe squeeze it together. So I mean, we'll see. But I mean, it's honestly like barely This bolt is barely sticking through, so I can't even latch on anything. Let me grab my vice grips and see if I can just clamp that down. Step one, oh, I was about to say, step one, find your vice grips. I usually can't find anything around here. I need to build a better workbench for sure, but I found them. So, I don't know. The theory of the vice grips works, but I need to get it deeper in there. I don't really have some deep channeled vice grips, so I'm gonna have to try and figure something out. Figure something out. I don't know. I'm squeezing it together right now just to see if it'll hold some muscle memory closer together. Kinda. There's some flex to it, but as soon as it goes on, I can't like squeeze it together with my fingers. I can't even start a nut down there. That'd be the best thing to do, but I'll figure it out. I got them on there, but I could just barely squeeze it enough to get a nut on there. I couldn't get the washer on there as well. I'm sure it'll be fine. I got washers on the top, but I might have to figure out a better way to do that, because you could run into an issue like this. You could lose the hydrofoil. So I might just keep it on there like that for a couple days, maybe hit it with a heat gun and let it really retain that muscle memory. And then a couple days from now, unscrew it or unbolt it and then get a washer under there. It's definitely not a big deal though. So I'm gonna do the other one and then we'll see. This one actually is not as wide in that canyon right there. So I can actually, oh, I already felt that I could squeeze the bolts through a lot easier. So maybe that one, there was just a problem, I don't know. It is what it is. Ready to put this one on. Consider that Yamaha 15 upgraded. Hydrofoil on. Let me work on this tiller extension, because I just know already that I mean, I got $1 off for these stickers, but I already know it's just gonna come off terribly in a million pieces. Let me give it just a little fingernail test just to see. All right, I might be able to. Obviously this top part will come off easily, but let me heat it up. All jokes aside, this thing is actually giving me a run for my money. And I feel like having to do this is actually worth more than $1. I got $1 off. And look at this. Time is money, man. This is costing me more than $1. Somehow, I'm sure somehow, sitting over here having to do this. Little by little, man. I'll get it done. I cannot get a long streak to save my life. Dude, it's literally teeny tiny piece by piece. I'm trying, man. I usually have a set of plastic razor blades over there, but I can't find them right now. That'd probably be the most clutch tool. I'm about to hit it with just a regular razor blade, but I've already invested this much time. I really don't want to make it worse. Whatever, dude. Do we have anything? Will this work? This random thing? No. The old fingernail. Little by little. Let me just do one streak with a razor blade. If I can find one of those. Okay, I found one. All right, there's a little bit of scoring, but I'll trade a little bit of scoring for not having to do this for the next 45 minutes. I'll sit here and keep doing this for a little bit, and then I'll show you the after product. And I guess we'll talk about if we can tell that I did this or not. Looks pretty good. You can't even tell. Only took 20 minutes. I hit it with some Goo Gone, and then just kind of went at it with a brush or a sponge, whatever. There is a little rubber piece in here that you don't necessarily need. It kind of makes it harder. Kind of makes it way harder than it needs to be to get it on there. So I'll try and get that out. Come here. All right, yeah, I don't even think that would fit. Yeah, rubber thing is not gonna fit. I guess if I didn't already have the grip on there though, rubber thing would come in handy. Whatever, okay? Whatever. It's crazy that this tiller extension is taking up this much of our time. All right, squeeze that on there, tighten her up. We should be good to go. Dude, if you've never ran a tiller extension on a skiff like this, dude, it's night and day difference. You don't have to be back here right up on it. That means we can move Yeti 75 up a little bit. Sure, we can find something to do with this. Maybe, who knows? I know it's a really small change with the tiller extension and the hydrofoil, but it looks so much more skiff. Does that make sense? So much more intentional, I guess. Customized. Dude, this is a custom Yamaha 15 on a custom skiff. Alrighty, I guess we're gonna do these last because they're satisfying to do. I'm gonna do this because it's probably gonna be a pain in the derriere. So, probably hit this side with a razor blade, maybe. Like I said, when I was just opening up the can of paint, that exterior paint is actually really, really durable. So, I mean, I'm sure it's contributing to why this will not lift up. I'll just hit this with a razor blade a couple of times. Like, I'm serious, I literally, the other day when I was in here, I was just prying away at it with a flathead screwdriver on the opposite side. I was using pliers. I was doing everything I could, but I think we maybe just seized it up. It might be too far gone. We're gonna try though. I'll show you what it does whenever you try to pry it up. It just wants to bend. Okay, I can actually see the hinge points now though. Okay. There's hinge points all the way throughout that I should probably be hitting with a blade. I just can't believe how durable this exterior paint is. All right, little by little. All right, it's starting to break up down there. This is probably gonna be time consuming. I'm gonna work at it for a little bit, spare you the time. And I don't know, check back in if we get anywhere. Yeah, let me do that. I didn't think we were gonna get this far in the build, so when I was putting the bed liner on, I just put it in the hinges. I didn't really care. But now that we got a sweet skiff, I wish I could go back and do a few things differently, but can't do that. So using my hands to kind of pry it, I kind of got this side all good, but this side's still stuck. I sat here for a long time and just pried back and forth, back and forth. I mean, I wouldn't say it broke loose, but it's now moving up and down. And I took all the rivets out. So now I'm gonna put the rivets back in and call it a day on this hatch. That actually took way longer than I thought, but I got some new rivets in here. I had to drill some extra holes, but she's functional again. Ain't the prettiest, but she's on there now. She's on there good now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 long rivets in there. So problem solved. Situation fixed. Roadblock cleared. All right, now I'm gonna move on to the onboard charger. I'm just going to mount it inside in there, make it look nice, pretty easy, and then move on to the next thing. I love these things. I used to get the Bass Pro Shop one, the Bass Pro Shop 5 amp, but it was $80 as opposed to this being $74 at Academy. But if they had this one at West Marine in stock today, I would have grabbed it because they do price matching and you can price match on Amazon and get it even cheaper. Oh, trying to do this one hand. Hold on, bear with me. I'm gonna grab it out and I'm gonna come back and get you. I ain't gonna leave you down there hanging. Give me a second. Okay. Ah. Ah. Almost there. Almost there. Okay. All right, we're out. Okay. Bingo. So, wait, this is annoying. I guess it's not always. Dang, I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed the wrong one. If this was the case, I would have just grabbed the cheaper one. I was trying to avoid having to do this, but whatever. Live and you learn. I mean, there are eyelets here. I don't think those will be able to fit onto this battery. No, not a chance. All right, so they make a 1 amp version of this that you plug into the wall, and then it still has these gator clips. I thought I was grabbing an onboard charger that you mount inside, but that's why I vouched for this one, which was 75, as opposed to the 1 amp, which was $34.99, which is not a big deal to me because 1 amp is fine. I don't fish these vessels like super often, and 165 amp hours is was gonna last you enough. So I could plug it in and charge it for a couple of days without issue, as opposed to a 5 amp. It'll get you there quicker. So I mean, dude, I guess there's not even anything to mount. They give you stuff to mount it, so I mean, I guess I can mount it in there. I'm kind of bummed. I could have saved 40 bucks. Just mounted it in there. It looks kind of sweet, I guess. I'm not thrilled, but it'll get the job done. But now you got to plug in two things. I got to plug it into the wall, and I have to clip it to the battery. As opposed to an onboard charger, you got to plug it in one time. Now that all of that is good, we're going to move on to considerably the most important cosmetic today. I mean, there's not much that I'm doing. I'm literally just slapping this on here. I got to move it off for a little bit, slap this on, and then bring it back. I might sand down some of the paint. I'm not gonna repaint it or anything. I'm just gonna let it be, man, because it's not gonna be perfect. I forgot I was going to paint this black earlier, but I don't think I'll have enough time now. It probably won't dry fast enough. But I mean, a little chrome never hurt, I guess. We'll see how it looks. This is how I'm lifting it up. Seems to be all right. I sanded it down a good amount. I'm scuffing this up right now because I actually am about to go paint it black. And then you kind of just fold it into shape, peel off this double-sided stuff, slap her on there. That's about it. Let me go paint this. Button it up on there. A little high, but where it's resting right now is not a huge deal. I care more about where it catches whenever I'm like putting it on the trailer. Wherever it hits first, I wanted to cover that up. Not only is it cosmetically better, but also structurally better, because you can see there were kind of some gouges there before already. So this is just going to protect it even more. Let's go over everything that we did. Front, we put a bow guard on there, painted it black. Looks pretty cool. We fixed this hatch. That was the biggest issue today. Thankfully, now we have an operating hatch. Down there, we put the NOCO 5 amp charger under there. New tiller extension, we put the hydrofoil on, and then we 5200 all of these little areas in the back, and then painted over it. I think that's everything that we did. We didn't do a lot, but now it's ready to go. Now it's ready to go, because I can't, like, just imagine I'm selling the boat. I can't sell the boat with a lithium battery but no charger. I can't do that. So, like, there's little things that we had to do to get it to that end zone. Now we're in the end zone, baby. We're in the end zone. And she's looking sweet. Dude, I can't wait to actually go fish this thing. Like, take it out for an actual fishing day rather than just a voyage. But I'm pretty sure that's everything we did. I mean, it didn't take much. Just a nice fun Monday afternoon in the shop. Just to keep the spirits up. Visually, the Yamaha 15 is looking pretty sweet. ready to go. I'm actually really curious what that hydrofoil is gonna do for us out there on the water. Oh, very important. I need to add some oil to that fuel. It's not going to need much. Dude, somebody tell me when. Somebody tell me when. Dude, that's enough. That's enough. You know, I guess. Our voyage the other day really didn't take much gas at all. Dude, I'll do just another small, dude, just a little something. All right. Okay. I don't want to go overboard. Give that a little swish. Oh yeah. A little 2-stroke mixed drink right there, brother. All right. Now I can stand up. That's what I really wanted to do on the maiden voyage. The skiff was begging for me to be standing up while driving, but I had to sit and I had to stay way back there. Now I can stretch my legs a little bit. I had a good time in here. Man, I can't thank you guys enough for tagging along on Monday's journey. Had a good one. And dude, if you made it to this point of the video, you're a legend for sure. I love hanging out with you guys, especially just a nice Monday afternoon. Air's a little crispy outside, vibes are high, and dude, I just can't thank you enough for hanging out. One last look at her, because aside from the drain plug and the bilge pump, this is pretty much it. This is pretty much its final form. I still am in the talking stage with getting some decals for that backside, so stay tuned for that. But until then, I'm about to go pick up the old lady. We're gonna go to Texas Roadhouse, go grab some dinner. Just a nice Monday, man. I can't say it enough. The air, just something feels so good about it. Something feels good. But yeah, gonna grab some dinner, the old lady, call it a day. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. Had fun working on the skiff with you guys today. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I'm telling you, man, there's something about the air. When I was younger, I had a lot of like seasonal depression. Something about that sun going down early, the cold, I don't know. But dude, now that I'm an adult, a well-seasoned adult now, you know, I got me a wife, a baby, another one on the way. Dude, there's something about the sun going down earlier that's like, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that because I get to bring the family in close. We get to hunker down inside, eat some good food together. It like brings us closer. Okay, I'm still on the fence because I still like a nice sunny evening, because right now it's like 6 o'clock right now. And just a couple of weeks ago, would be the time that I'd be leaving the shop and I'd go home, pick up the old lady, pick up the baby, and we'd go for our walk. I would run, my wife would walk the baby. I would run my couple of miles, come back, and then it would be sunset time and we'd go chill on the beach and watch the sun go down. But now, can't even do that. I'd have to leave here much earlier. But it's like what I'm saying. Just that vision of just like, it's chilly outside. I got the balcony doors open. Some cool air coming in. We're all chilling on the couch, watching a nice show under a blankie. I can get down with that. I can get down with that. Dude, oh, dude, this is like, I just turned around and this vision right here, I am just so stoked. The Sea-Doo Fish Pro, the skiff back there. Long live Skiff Land, brother. The couple of outboards on that back wall, cherry picker looking nice and yellow. That's what I've always dreamed of. Boxing, gym up top. Might have to put in some rounds now that I'm thinking about it. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna stop yapping. I appreciate you guys for hanging out. I say it over and over again, but I really, really do. I really do. It wouldn't be the same without you guys. I'd just be some boring dude listening to some rock and roll on my lonesome. But with you here, I get to chat it up. We get to chat. We get to talk about our day. That thing with the Jeep has been on my mind all day. I've just been so excited to talk to you guys about it because, I mean, it's still a blessing, you know, to have such a nice car at such a good price point and capable of fixing it. I don't know, dude, but I just wanted to tell somebody that I was frustrated that I let somebody get one over on me. But I got to talk to you guys about it, and I feel a little bit better. That's what it's all about. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow about the same time. Bye-bye. I just walked out here and realized that's where I spray painted the like bow guard, and it's undeniable. You'd have me dead to rights with that one. Whatever. Guilty as charged. Painted straight on right on the driveway.